Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. In this episode, let's talk about the 2021 Specialized Epic Hardtail Comp mountain bike. But before we start, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe and hit the bell icon because it's gonna help in growing the channel. And of course, if you are already a subscriber, then definitely thank you. So, as I was saying, cross-country mountain bike from Specialized, and it's going to be Specialized Epic Hardtail Comp. Let's first answer the question, who is this bike for? So you see, Specialized Epic Hardtail platform is an absolute legend when it comes to cross-country mountain bikes. You have two flavors of Specialized Epic. It's a hardtail model that we are going to be talking about today, and you also have a Specialized Epic full suspension model. Both of these cross-country mountain bikes have a huge heritage. They have won so many cross-country mountain bike races and world titles. So definitely Specialized knows what they are doing with this specific platform. Generally speaking, if you like to go on road and off-road, explore a bit of nature, then definitely you should consider a Specialized Epic hardtail platform. Also, I prefer hardtail mountain bikes to the gravel road bikes, just because I think that good quality hardtail mountain bikes such as this is so much more superior to the gravel road bike. Now, also, let's mention the retail price of this bike. So you see, the retail price is $2,800. I mean, definitely not a cheap bike, but also I think that Specialized has done a very good job considering this retail price of $2,800 and then considering all the specifications and equipment that you're gonna get with this bike. Now, it's gonna be a bit tough to get any discount for this bike, just because all the bike deliveries are heavily delayed, so probably your local Specialized bike dealer won't be able to give you any discount on this bike unless you really want to wait for the, maybe at the end of the year or something, you might get a little bit of discount, or they might drop in some kind of extra equipment to the bike, like for example a helmet or some gloves. Now let's talk about the paint scheme. The good thing here is that Specialized is offering two paint schemes, and both of these paint schemes look really good. One is this classical metallic red with a hint of white, absolutely beautiful paint scheme, and then you also have this very beautiful, I would call it almost like metallic blue with a hint of red. Also the official title would be the Satin Carbon Oil Chameleon. Absolutely beautiful paint scheme. I mean, between these two paint schemes, it's really tough to choose, but as we all know, since red is the fastest color, I would definitely go with the red paint scheme. But it's absolutely great that Specialized is offering two paint schemes on this bike with retail price $2,800. Now, let's dive in and let's see what do you really get for your hard-earned money. And as always, we will kick off with the frame and the fork. So this frame is a carbon fiber frame from Specialized, their FACT 11M carbon fiber frame with a classical cross-country geometry. This frame comes with the threaded bottom bracket, which is absolutely great. It's going to be easy to service, and also 12mm through axles front and the back, where at the back you have this 148mm rear spacing. Also, this carbon fiber frame has an internal cable routing, and as I see here, you can mount the SWAT EMT multi-tool. So that's a little product from Specialized where you can mount your multi-tools at the bottom of the frame, in the sense where your bottle cages would fit. There is a little place where you can mount your tools on this down tube of the cross-country mountain bike. It's a very neat solution. It's always good to have some extra tools with you if anything goes wrong out in the forest. Also keep in mind that carbon fiber frames from Specialized come with a lifetime warranty, which is absolutely great. So when it comes to the carbon fiber frame, here absolutely no complaint from me. Now let's talk about the fork on this bike. Since it's a hardtail, of course it only has a front fork, and this is the RockShox Riba RL fork. RockShox, again, huge heritage in making cross-country mountain bike forks, especially Riba RL has been on the market for so long. And if, for example, you would be buying this RockShox Riba RL fork on the open market, the retail price could be between 540 euros all the way to 620 euros, depending on different specifications of the fork. Some of the highlights of this fork are the following. So this is definitely a 100mm travel fork, proper cross-country fork for 29-inch wheels. You have a solo air spring on this fork from RockShox. Also, the fork offset is 42mm, and the maximum rotor size that you can fit on this fork is 220mm rotor size. The legs of the fork are aluminium legs, and these are 32mm in diameter, and the damper type on this fork is again the RockShox motion control damper. All in all, absolutely superb fork. I have no complaints about this RockShox Riba RL fork. And of course, it's a 15mm true axle at the front with 110mm wide axle. So you have 15mm true axle at the front, and then it's a 12mm true axle at the back on the rear wheel. Now let's talk about some of the smaller components of the cockpit. So let's start with the stem and the handlebars. So the stem is the Specialized own cross-country aluminium stem, and also handlebars are the Specialized aluminium handlebars, 750mm wide. There's no problem in aluminium stem and handlebars. I am totally fine with that, and personally I wouldn't even bother in the future upgrading to the carbon fiber pieces, just because I think this aluminium handlebar and the stem is totally fine. Saddle and the seat post. So you see, the saddle on this bike is going to be the Specialized Body Geometry Power seat post, saddle, and the Body Geometry saddles are great saddles from Specialized. I'm not expecting any problems with this saddle, but again, if you have your own saddle that you prefer and really like, then definitely mount it on this bike. Now when we talk about the seat post, this is a bit disappointing on this bike. So this is a Specialized aluminum seat post, 30.9mm in diameter. This is a no-no in my book. This should have been a carbon fiber seat post on this bike. I mean, after all, it's a $2,800 retail price. And also, just keep in mind, the carbon fiber seat post is going to make your ride so much more smoother. So this would be definitely the first thing I would upgrade on this bike. I would put the carbon fiber seat post. Now let's talk about the braking system on the bike. So you see, you are getting a superb Shimano SLX hydraulic disc brakes. So these are Shimano SLX M7100 with 2-piston calipers, and as I can see, you are getting 180mm rotors at the front, and probably it's going to be 160mm at the back. And it seems to me that these are classic Shimano's SLX braking rotors. Absolutely superb hydraulic Shimano SLX disc brakes. Only one thing to keep in mind here is that definitely just double check with your Specialized bike dealer the size of the rotors at the front and the back. I think it's 180mm front, 160mm at the back when it comes to the braking rotors. And also keep in mind, when it comes to Shimano group sets on mountain biking field, you have Shimano XTR at the top, then you have Shimano XT below, then you have Shimano SLX below, and then Shimano Dior. Now let's talk about the drivetrain of the bike. So we'll start with the rear mech and the shifters. So the rear mech, again, superb Shimano SLX mechanical, and the shifter is also Shimano SLX mechanical group set M7100, and this is a 12x1 group set, 12-speed group set with one chainring at the front. That's why you don't have a front derailleur. You only have the shifters and the rear mech, which are Shimano SLX. Absolutely superb. Chain is also Shimano SLX M7100 12-speed chain. I'm glad that they didn't cut corners on the chain, and here they are not mentioning the cassette. I am assuming that the cassette will also be Shimano's SLX cassette, which is the CSM 7100 12-speed cassette, and the range should be 1051 at the cassette. But again, one small detail to check with your local Specialized bike dealer: is the cassette SLX or is it some kind of Dior cassette? I hope they put an SLX 12-speed cassette 1051. When it comes to the crankset, again, superb choice, Shimano SLX crankset, 7100 crankset, which is the 32-tooth chainring at the front, so it's a single chainring at the front, and then at the back you have 12 speeds, and this cassette should be 1051 cassette at the back. So absolutely, you see, you'll have no problems in attacking very, very steep mountains with this combination of 32-tooth at the front and 1051 cassette at the back. So absolutely no special complaints about the drivetrain, just please do check about the cassette on this bike. What is it? Is it Shimano SLX? Now let's talk about the wheel set on this bike. So you see, rims are classical aluminum Specialized rims, nothing special. They are tubeless ready, which is great, and they have a 25 millimeters internal width, 28 holes front and the back, and the hubs on this bike are a classical Shimano MT400 hub at the front and MT510 hub at the back. Shimano's MT510 hub and 400 hub are a total workhorse, no problems here. I have no special complaints with this wheelset setup. It's a very classical aluminum wheelset, 15mm boost through axle at the front, 12mm boost through axle at the back, DT Swiss spokes, and as I said, it's a tubeless ready wheelset. Perfectly fine out of the box. Really in the future, if you want to upgrade to some better wheelsets, then definitely check some of the Roval wheelsets, which is a brand from Specialized. They have some very good offers for Roval wheelsets, aluminum and carbon. And also you can check my favorite wheelsets from DT Swiss. What do they offer from, for example, carbon or aluminum wheelsets? But out of the box, this is perfectly fine wheel combination. I wish that Specialized has given here the total weight of this bike. Unfortunately, they don't give it, but I would assume that this bike, out of the box in some size like a large, would probably be around 10.5 kilograms, maybe even closer to the 10 kilograms, so I'm expecting it to be very competitive weight, because usually these Specialized Epic Hardtails are very light machines. So in a summary, do I have any special complaints about this bike? Well, technically there is one big complaint, and that's this seat post. You see, they've put an aluminum seat post, and I truly believe that this should have been a carbon fiber seat post, and this would be my first upgrade in the future if I get this bike, to get a carbon fiber seat post, because the ride is going to be so much more smoother. Also, please do check with the local Specialized bike dealer, is this cassette at the back a Shimano SLX cassette 1051, because whole group set is Shimano SLX, and I would expect them to keep the cassette also Shimano SLX. And one more thing, forgot to mention that the tires on this bike are the Specialized own fast track tires. Perfectly fine tires, no complaints here, and I'm also expecting these tires to be probably 2.3 inches wide, so a lot of air volume, but this is the classical cross-country mountain bike setup. So all in all, I think this is gonna be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing, and if you do, please do subscribe and hit the bell icon so you are always notified when I make a new video. And as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Pura Vida!